Hello, welcome back to Invest in You. Today I got Andrew Lebbos on board and we will talk about finance and interesting stuff like that. So again, this is for educational and entertainment reasons, so it's not financial advice. I made that disclaimer so Andrew doesn't need to do that. So we stick away also from direct financial advice and super current crazy things happening in the world to not date this episode too much. So, with me today, I got Andrew Lebbos. He's the VP of Benzinga. They are working with AI product linked to finance, for example, financial data, APIs, licensing, brokering, etc. So, we'll dive more into that later. And we'll dive a lot into also FinTech because something I've been working with in London and globally, and he's been doing this in the US and in around Miami. So, what's up today, my friend? How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and it's always great to have people from the US because they can be from all over the world, including from the US. So you never know.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, let's dive straight in. So the big idea is not to repeat other episodes. So every unique guest has got their own say. So data is not a feature, but data can also be a lot of substance for decision making. I've been working a lot with military intelligence and business intelligence. So I love data, and I know how we can also use AI to use it in a productive way. So what does that say to you? Data and AI in one sentence.
Data and AI. So data and AI are, I would say, related.
Yep.
There's no AI without data.
Yes.
And data is much stronger with AI. And so they're necessary for one another. They're peanut butter and jelly in our world.
Yeah.
So I'll give a little background on Benzinga and just for people who don't know,
Yep.
financial media company. We started in 2009 to break down the barrier between Wall Street and Main Street. With that, we've aggregated a ton of data in order to write news. And of course, that aggregation process has improved and become faster and more accurate with the invent of AI over the past few
Yep.
years. And so we at Benzinga are embracing AI. We appreciate AI, and it's helped us accelerate product growth and accuracy tenfold.
Yeah. Yeah. Again. So I I have got too many jobs over here, so I have also got filter here what's happening in the rest of the world over here. So data and business. Can you make money from data?
It definitely it pays my rent
Yeah.
and
Works.
a lot
Good.
of our company's rent. So
That's good.
our like in 2009 we started as this media company, but if we look at the company today, we're primarily a licensing organization. Major competitors, if you want to think about it, it would be a Refinitiv, a FactSet, a Morningstar.
Yeah.
Those gigantic, some publicly traded companies, very strong financials, very strong book of business, well respected across many
Yep.
organizations and across the world. So yes, you can make money on data for sure.
Yes.
Um, we we've moved into a primarily a licensing organization because of the demand for data. Demand for
Yep.
data is growing. Brokerages are our primary customers. So you can think of it as the Fidelities or the 401k providers,
Yep.
the self-directed investing apps across the globe. And they're all trying to add new features powered by data on their platforms. AI companies across the globe are adding data as an input. The output is only as strong as the input that they receive. So, we've struck direct relationships with Perplexity and a couple other models that are under NDA, but
Yep. Yeah.
think
That's
about
cool.
the five
Yeah.
biggest models.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so yes, there's definitely a way to make money on data and provide a very sustainable business model.
Yeah, so I work a lot with advisory and also consulting as well as investments. And some people say, "Oh, the consulting is dead." Yes, like I don't think what you're doing is dead at all. For example, all these people who think, "Oh yeah, I can just ask ChatGPT." Well, it's not quite the same. And the data accuracy and the timing, etc. Why does it actually make sense to pay for up-to-date data and or analyze data as per se?
From a retail investor perspective, I've seen a lot of articles on LinkedIn and online saying the Bloomberg terminal killer. That will never happen, right? Like
I
that's
know
an
quite a
absurd
few have
thought.
got their own version selling it on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Only
we'll never
polite.
displace Bloomberg, right?
No.
Like the reason is because they have so much QA. I mean, the majority of their operation is around quality assurance
Yes.
for the data inputs that they, purchase and redistribute for the news that they create. They are a proprietary engine for the world for breaking news
Yep.
and interesting data insights. And it's curated and it's presented in a way that is easy to understand and actionable for investors. I use ChatGPT, I use Claude every single
Yeah,
day for
no,
things,
I
right?
use all of them.
But yeah, I also use the primary sources
Yeah.
because it's not always sufficient to receive a summary. Sometimes you need that raw information. And as long as humans are the decision makers in businesses,
Yep.
I pray that that stays the case for as long as
Yep.
I'm employed. But as long as decisions are made by humans, humans are going to need to see the raw data and deduct and reason and use logic.
Yeah. So let's jump into one of the key terms that we've discussed so far. For the people who are on this chat who are relatively early in their entrepreneurial journey, we just had a podcast. We talked about the difference between recurring and reoccurring revenue. Can you explain what a licensing sales model actually is? It might be super obvious, but think about a younger audience, what it actually means.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll share it in a single case study.
Okay.
Um, Imagine a company's earning reports. Every quarter they report earnings. There's estimates from the analysts that cover the company. They go on their conference call and they deliver the revenue, the price per share, et cetera. They deliver all of these numbers. So we aggregate these numbers and then we put them in a way that is easy to distribute
Yep.
and to consume by the brokerage or the hedge fund, et cetera. The licensing agreement is the ability to use that information for display or for
Yep.
internal use.
Yes.
And then there's a flat monthly cost based on the size of the company or based on how many users will be seeing that information.
Yep.
And so, there's the licensing model historically has been like a per user model. It's been kind of hard for accounting teams on both sides.
Yep.
We try to make it easy, one flat rate, monthly, recurring. And because our data is strong and accurate, we spend a lot of money on QA ourselves.
Yes.
Um, we have over a 99% retention rate. So it truly is recurring. Once signed up, we like imagine a 1 year agreement, 99 plus retention rate. It slowly builds over time. It's not one-offs. So
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons that I love this business is because you find an industry, you find a need in the industry, and then you find a need for a specific platform or hedge fund. You fill that need,
Yep.
and then you guys are partners, hopefully for life.
Yeah, exactly. So since we mentioned licensing, I will mention a relative of licensing. Uh, Again, for people who have not tried this before, who are maybe in a sales role, they are familiar with this term, which I'm about to talk about, which is called churn. You already said like you lose like, yeah, 1%. That could be 1% monthly or annually. Can you explain what the term churn means in terms of licensing again for people to understand?
Yes. So churn is, in our case, a cancellation.
Yes.
Um, we have a 99% retention rate month over month.
Yeah,
And
good.
so that means every month we lose 1% of
Yeah.
our clients. And I will preface, because we have startup pricing and we compared to a lot of our competitors,
Yeah.
allow for a lower barrier to entry to allow for companies to build with our data at a lower
Yeah.
price. Some of these startups go out of business or they get acquired, and that turns into a lot of our churn. But yeah, in short, churn means lost revenue or lost
Yeah.
clients.
Okay, cool. Parking your main occupation at the moment and some of those terms to jump into the term which is called FinTech, so finance and technology together, which now is almost always means some kind of element of AI. What have you been up to, and what kind of learnings can we share from that, which is not under NDAs, etc., of course?
Of course. So fintech and AI. So fintech, financial technology. Specifically, we work in the trade tech space, so trading technology.
Yep.
Um, so when I joined, we had, I think, six products. We had the run-of-the-mill products. We had earnings, dividends, news, the core offerings.
Yeah.
We now have 30 products, and half of our job is to understand where the market is going and build towards it. Where is the puck going is how we like to term it. And so, with AI, it's a lot easier for us to bring products to life. We still
Yep.
need human inputs and human QA, but we've been able to bring out one new product per month.
Yes.
And we just keep our ear to the ground, right? Like in one of the pillars of business to me is to listen, right? The best salespeople historically have had the highest amount of empathy. And
Yep.
with that is truly longing to understand what your clients need and to fill that gap. And so, in going to conferences and having regular phone calls with our clients, we realized three things. We realized, number one, that the new generation of investors is obsessed with video. They receive the majority of their news through video,
Yep.
primarily through social media, not the traditional sites. And so we have created a thesis that brokerages will be adding video to their platforms. If just logically, if investors want to consume their news via video and brokerages want investors to consume their news on their platform, then
Yep.
brokerages need video.
Yes.
So we launched a video feed and we're doing, 20 to 30 videos per day about the market, highly engaging, short form. And that is already showing popularity. We launched it last
Yep.
week. So
No, that's
I'll keep
cool.
you posted on
Yeah,
on
yeah,
how it
that's cool.
goes. So yeah.
No, I can absolutely see how that makes sense because it's part of people's private life. And we often bring the private life in and habits from there into our work life. Why? Because it's convenient and we will find time to do what we want to do, not always what we have to do.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like the reason we grew over the past 15 years, we continue to grow, is because our content is easy to consume.
Yeah.
And the definition of easy to consume changes as people change. And
Yeah.
so easy to consume is moving towards video consumption. And we just try to fill the issue, solve the problems that our clients
Yeah.
share.
Yeah. Embarrassing confession, linked to what you just said there. So I this year got an email from YouTube. Congratulations, 15 years as a creator. Like because I've had a channel. I had a channel for more than 15 years, and I post like 10 videos. I thought like I got so many. I mean, basically, I got just this podcast is well over 200 episodes, and I got another podcast, and I got so much other educational and informational content, which I've chosen to not share. Like, So yeah, I also started slow. So now you can actually find my name also on YouTube with I think 40 followers since 1 week. So yeah.
Nice.
I have to start
It
somewhere.
will grow.
Doesn't matter if
Yeah,
it's
and
like
also
200,000 all other platforms. You have to start somewhere. I even started TikTok for fun in I was in Uganda doing push-ups and that kind of worked.
I love that. Yeah, people love content. And I mean,
Yeah.
if you have an archive of content, a lot of it is probably evergreen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it
Pe
is. Yeah.
People love to learn via video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. And also you get so many free things as well as when you actually post it, for example, on YouTube, it becomes searchable in a completely different way than if you post it on other platforms. Why? Because, well, Gemini is a quite important little thing out there, and so is Google. And they happen to very integrated into YouTube, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen demand from the AI companies for our historical video content,
Yeah.
and that's an interesting to think through that is very interesting. Why do the AI companies want historical video news content?
Yeah.
It's crazy where the world is going.
Yeah, and also like I know because I had so many different conversations with content creators as well. I know many of them have actually sold like the whole backlog of everything they've done up to date, and some of them with new commitments, usually with new commitments that they need to keep producing to keep the old stuff alive. One of them, he decided to basically sell everything, and against all advice, he's like, I put everything in Bitcoin. And that was a couple of years ago now. It was a good idea. So yeah, but
Yeah.
no, it's funny. Yeah, investing is funny.
Wow.
Timing and
It
that
is
can be interesting.
for
Yeah,
sure.
no, crazy. Cool. So, founder lens, would you see yourself as one of the founders of the company, or how would you define yourself?
I wouldn't take that credit, honestly. Jason Raznick is the founder of the company
Yeah.
alongside Lou Jacoby.
Yes.
They had the vision, they built it to what it is today. They got a worldwide reach.
Yeah.
I would say that I've been an operator of the licensing business
Yeah.
over the past 7 years and helped that scale into our biggest revenue stream and our focus moving forward.
Yeah.
But I joined the company quite young, I will say. I was very young in my career. It was like my third corporate job,
Yeah.
and Luke and Jason taught me how to break down doors, how to lead, how to manage people.
Yeah.
They built the culture and the veins for this company.
Yeah, no, the reason why I'm teasing you a little bit is because you got the founder and entrepreneurial traits. Otherwise, you wouldn't have your SVP role, and you wouldn't drive your own like division to where you are today. It takes a lot of grit, and I'm pleased that you've learned a lot from the founders, because you can also be an intrapreneur. Everyone should absolutely not be an entrepreneur, but you can actually use your entrepreneurial skills to be an entrepreneur. You're doing it under someone else's umbrella without taking maybe all the financial risk. You can still have a lot of upside, depending how you frame what you do. But everyone shouldn't be an entrepreneur, full stop. But you can actually have very entrepreneurial traits that can benefit yourself and the company where you're working as an employee.
100%. And I I was blessed to be a part of Benzinga during this journey because I've been able to leverage the Benzinga brand and the Benzinga
Yeah,
reach.
yeah,
And I'm passionate about financial data and financial information. And if I say when I started Benzinga, I tried to build my own company
yep,
with my own brand name. Who knows how far it would have gotten compared to leveraging the Benzinga credibility.
yep,
And of course, our news desk is top notch, right? That's our biggest product.
yeah,
So I've been lucky to be an entrepreneur. I will say I'm an entrepreneur on the side.
yeah, of
I
course.
have a little real estate
Yep.
side hustle.
Yes.
That helps me itch, scratch the itch. But the mass majority of my time is spent trying to build a business within Benzinga.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. So the podcast name is Invest in You. What does that mean to yourself?
So I might have a hot take here, but the majority of my early career was in sales, direct
Yep.
sales. And direct sales is it's an emotional roller coaster. It's all about self-regulation.
Yes.
It's about keeping hope and keeping positivity no matter what, showing up every single day. And the way that I've found how I've been able to do that and maintain those traits as I move into leadership is to take care of myself, right? Investing in yourself, you know, every single day. Ensure you get enough sleep.
Yep.
Ensure you're eating healthy. Ensure you exercise every single day, right? Even if it's just a walk, get some fresh air. Um, keep your desk clean, keep your workspace clean, like set yourself up day in and day out to be able to perform at your best. Um, I think that is the most important investment in yourself.
Cool. Let's stay on the topic of sales for a bit long because that can be super helpful for so many people. Any good like sales mantras or quotes that can keep you going or do they go that extra mile? Well, you think I will drop one that I learned long while back. It is one more. And like, what do you mean, like one more? One more push up, one more knock on the door, one more phone call, one more sale, obviously. So, what could be some of the terms that people have been drumming into your head?
Yeah, I have a couple. I had a really charismatic sales manager at my first corporate job,
Yeah,
Stephen Sawyers. I was working in telecom, funny enough. And he would always say output equals input. Output equals input every single day, and it's like if I because I mean you'll go through slumps, right? Like
yeah,
you'll kill it a quarter and then a quarter's tough and then you'll kill it a quarter. And if you just think about like the more I maximize my output, the more input I will receive. That's kept me going in those sales slumps. If I do 10x the amount of output that I was doing, then even if I get a fraction of that input,
yeah,
it's proven, it's tried and true.
yeah, yeah. And same goes with like when you start to know your sales numbers, when you break them down, and all of a sudden you know that every no is worth $50. Like you can't wait to get the next no, the next no, the next no. It's like okay, I got my five no's. Now it's two and a half. Sorry, $250 or with bigger numbers. It's just it could be a numbers game. People say oh, it's not, but it actually is if you know and analyze yourself and reflect. And another
That's
one,
that's an amazing. I'm gonna use that.
please
That's
do.
that's a really good one as well.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the same for me. I know that if I talk to a number of founders linked to my next thing, which is like a holding group of companies that would like to work together. So basically, if you were owning your company and for a part of your shares, you can basically exchange all of the shares. Yes, you will lose some of the shares you have, but your value for your company will be at least times two because you're part of something bigger. So think about your company times 10, and you're doing that transition overnight. So in theory, it's an easy sale, but it's a hard sale at the same time. So I know that if I have 25 good founder conversations, that will be at least 1 million plus in my pocket. So like if you start to calculate that 1 million, 25 calls, like why am I on this podcast? I should tell. No,
That's funny.
I'm partly joking, but no, I'm actually real talk as well. Yeah.
No, I agree with that. And I mean, I think one of the differences between high performing salespeople
Yeah.
and the run of the mill salespeople is especially in those high vol or high total contract value
Yep.
deals like you're referencing, and ours is the same way, right? Like
Yes.
it's less deals, longer term contracts,
Yep.
longer. It's a technical sale.
Yes.
People forget that it's a relationship,
Yes.
right? Like it's people at the end of the day. I always tell my salespeople, subscribe to three of your favorite newsletters
Yep.
and don't close them out until you send an article to one of your clients or one of your peer friends, right? And that's maintaining that relationship in a genuine way and creating conversation that lasts is worth more than trying to break down the door and pressure
Yeah.
someone into getting something done,
Yeah.
right? Like
Good point.
you're the industry expert. You should be passionate about what you're selling anyway. Um, learn and be a sponge
Yeah.
and share that information with your potential clients.
Yeah, that's really good. I was about to ask you about one or two sales leaders, salespeople, or authors, could be all of the above, that has inspired you that you would recommend to people who would like to grow their sales skills. Could be
Interesting.
any of them out there.
Um, yeah, the majority of the sales influence that I've had has been peer to peer.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um, and so my basketball coach from childhood, funny enough, Norm Allgood, he just wrote a book. It's called Push Push Never Quit, I think it's called. I just finished it, and it's a biography about his life from the military into leading organizations, and a lot
Yeah,
of it touches on sales.
cool.
Um, he taught me how to be a leader from a young age, and he taught me how to connect with people. And I still hit him up about questions about business and things of that nature. So I have
Nice.
a direct line to a highly successful entrepreneur, which
Yeah,
I'm blessed to have. Um, and then across the industry, I stay in touch with a lot of some people consider it depends on your lens, right? Some people consider them competitors. I consider
yeah,
them peers. I consider
yeah.
them colleagues.
I agree.
Um, at all of the companies that we go up against in RFPs, I'm friends with all the sales managers there. We talk shop. We
Yeah,
share what's working,
yeah,
not working. And then we end up sharing leads with one another because we may have a data set that they don't have. We may have a client that needs something in the future, et cetera.
absolutely.
And so those conversations, I think I think that a lot of people in sales management are like have a negative connotation against their competition. I take the other side where we're all of us at the end of the day, we just want to put food on the table and build a really cool business that we can be
Yeah,
proud of.
yeah.
And so why not keep those relationships strong and learn from one
Yeah,
another?
yeah. I mean, I'm a few years older than you and change. So I have had the same approach as you. So now, years later, now I'm very much in the conversation of like acquiring the competition instead. So therefore, if you have the relationships, well, it's much easier, more fun to work with the people that you might have been giving bro fists back in the days, and now you might work together as one stronger unit. So yeah, very interesting. And you never know where the
Exactly.
next job or business partner might be either. So yeah, you never know.
That's true. Imagine if you were dismissive to them because
Yeah,
they were a
exactly.
competitor back then, and then you're working with them, that's bad long term.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Yeah, I'm super happy that we had the chance to have this chat today, Andrew, because I think that there's been something out there for so many people. Different aspects of this conversation, from founders to salespeople to people who would benefit from taking that extra walk to whatever it might be. Um, what is the kind of question I should have asked you, but I didn't? It could be the question you'd like to answer yourself.
Um, Maybe where the puck is going in FinTech,
Yeah, go ahead.
like where are we building towards? I'd
Yes.
love to share that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So as I mentioned, we listen to our clients listen to the retail audience, and we try to build products that fill the gap.
Yeah.
I mentioned our video, right? Our
Yes,
video
you did.
news feed. We also see a huge spike in interest around prediction markets,
Okay.
and
Oh, yeah.
and
You
not
can
from
see
a
that with
sports
betting and
betting
everything. Yeah.
perspective. Sorry.
Yeah, I can see that with like betting in the finance sense, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, the use cases for prediction markets are incredible. Hedging, using public odds to before you invest in traditional equities. A lot of brokerages, even if they're not adding prediction markets to their platform, they want news around how the odds could impact equities and ETFs. And so we've created a prediction markets news feed to try and answer the question, how do these odds overlay and impact the public markets? Um, our third product that we have built is a private markets newsfeed. And so big companies like Robinhood and
Yeah.
a couple of the other large brokerages are providing either access to single companies like the Claude and the OpenAI, or a bucket, essentially like a pseudo ETF of these private companies.
Yeah.
And with that, people want news around their raises and their new product offerings and their potential partnerships. So we've created a news feed to help provide the insight that is needed for retail investors to make strong and smart long-term investments in private companies.
Yeah, that's really cool. So for the people who already forgot, Andrew is working with a company called Benzinga. So what's the best place to find you? I will of course link your LinkedIn detail and the company website. Which is your preferred social media place where people can actually follow you or see what you're up to?
LinkedIn is my preferred.
I thought so. Yeah.
It's Andrew Lebbos is the LinkedIn, and then benzinga.com/APIs
Cool.
is where you can find more info on our products.
That's great. Cool. So, people from all over the world, you've been listening to Andrew Lebbos and Fredrik Sandvall. We've been talking shop. And until next time, all the very best. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Thank you.